Okay, so now we're going to go into, this is part 3 of the trade wife. So part 1 talks about, it's the repeating. It's me repeating what went down with the other wives and stuff like that. And you'll see some of my opinion in it or whatever. The second video is my opinion straight off. And it's kind of short. That video is short. I made sure I stayed focused. So I was just stating my opinion on the videos and stating a little bit of my life in there and what happened in reference to my marriage and stuff like that. And now we're going to the biblical aspect of it. See, I had to write it down, so I'm trying to stay focused. So now, while we're doing, I should have got some chicken. What did I get? Let me show y'all what I got. I got French toast, home fries, and eggs with no cheese. That steak scrambled. Does this look like scrambled to you? What do you think scrambled? I don't think like that. I worked in school. I worked in cooking. And if I had came, I don't know why we let them get away. I don't know why I let them get away with it. I say scramble. I do scramble. And they know how to scramble. But they don't do the scramble like I want it. And I mean, you know, sometimes people get offended. I don't know why people don't like for people to tell them how to cook. It's not that I'm telling you how to cook. I'm telling you how to cook my food. Okay, so we're going into the biblical. Okay, so my phone, let me see. Because I need my phone. I turned it off to charge. I ain't buy me nothing to drink but coffee. So I guess I gotta be sipping some coffee. I need some water though. Boy, they got them thick things. Feel like 2. Why it's not charging? It's been closed all that time. Let me charge nothing. Now I'm gonna be charging. Hello for a good 15, 20 minutes. Okay. Okay, I didn't take that one. Okay, I don't think that I got. What's today? 12. So I got on here. I'm supposed to take that, right? Oh, it's a. Oh, it's a. Okay, so I'm supposed to take that. Take. Okay, so we are going into the biblical. What is this? Speak the advantage, Anderson, Deacon Lee. Oh, this is the 7 sayings. Oh, I ain't got no date. This probably, oh, this is March 29th. Oh, this is the one that I did with Pastor, when Pastor Glover was sick. Yeah. Okay. All right, so the biblical aspect of this, you know, I'm going to try not to be so long, right? Okay, so let me just write these scriptures down. Okay, so we got Genesis 2:24, Matthew 19:5. And we got Ephesians 5:31-32. Okay, so the biblical is the husband and wife. Okay, so we're gonna go all the way to Genesis. We're gonna start from the beginning, right? You know, I gotta go to the beginning of time so that you can understand this TRADWIFE, which I guess is supposed to be traditional. Okay, maybe that's short for traditional. Where the traditional started from. And I admire them women that chose that. I don't know how their lives is now, but I really feel that God rewarded them for the choice that they made in doing what the Bible wanted done from the very beginning. Now, they probably didn't even know it, that it was a biblical thing. Maybe they did. But I don't know whether they actually, know the Bible like that, but did it because of the Bible. But I really feel that God blessed them. That person that was probably in the car, God blessed them and gave them a good job. That person that wasn't getting the alimony from the husband that was cheating, because of her faithfulness, I'm going to say she was faithful. So because of her faithfulness to the Bible and to her man, God blessed her. I mean, she may not know that she has the right to marry again, even though the Bible says only in the Lord, right? But the only in the Lord is for the saved person, only in the Lord, because God is not going to tell a sinner to go and marry, to get the divorce because of fornication, but not to marry nobody, you know what I'm saying, until the husband died. When the husband died, then you're free to marry, but you got to marry only someone that's saved. You see what I'm saying? So people have to understand the sorority. Hey Siri, what does sorority means? No, I guess. I think I'm saying it wrong. Hey Siri. What does sorority mean? No, I'm saying it wrong. So I ain't going to use it. The sincerity. I'm going to use that word. The sincerity of being a woman married to a man. That's cheating on her. So let's go to Genesis. Okay. Genesis 2. And I guess you already know that's Adam and Eve. Genesis 2:24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. So, this is something that God originated from the beginning for men and women to be together. He made Adam first, and in my opinion, he made Adam first due to the fact that Adam had to learn how to take care of what he put him over. Take care of the garden. you know, take care of what it is that God placed him in that garden for. That's what he got to take care of. Once God felt like, or saw, that Adam was able to carry on his responsibilities, then he said, it's not good that man should be alone. Okay. He said, this is the 18th verse of Genesis 2. And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. A helpmeet, the Bible uses my help most often of God as our helper, which is Psalms 118 and 7, for example, as well as Hebrew 13 and 16. The term in no way belittles women or puts women in an inferior position to men. God created both women, and men in his image to work together for his glory. So, he didn't put the man to be over the woman, and he didn't put the woman over the man. That's why I said help. Okay. So therefore, this man is going to leave his father and his mother, and he's going to cleave to his wife. His feelings is going to be for his wife. Not that he don't love mommy, not that he don't love daddy, not that he don't want to be connected with mommy and daddy, but that connection is now over. Now it's time for him to bend off and do what he was brought in the world to do, besides serve God. That's to take care of that woman. Okay, so that's Genesis 2 and 24. Let's go to Matthew. I'm trying not to be too long because I don't want to be eating all in your face. Okay. Matthew 19. So that was the first thing, that the man going to leave his mother and father and he's going to be to his wife. Okay, Matthew 19 and 5, and this is under the entitlement of marriage and divorce. So 19 and 5 says, and said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother and shall cleave to his wife. Now, actually, let me go before that. Let me read it from the beginning. 19 and 1. And it came to pass that when Jesus had finished, and it came to pass that when Jesus had finished these sayings, he departed from Galilee and came into the coast of Judea beyond Jordan. And great multitudes followed him, and he healed them there. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? Every time you turn around, something, whatever he felt like, leaving his, putting away his wife is leaving him. Right, leaving him. So now, and he answered and said unto them, have ye not heard that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twine shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twine, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder. Now here go the thing. They said, and the Christians go with this too. They said unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcements, and to put her away? He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning it was not so. Beginning is what I read in Genesis. That's what was supposed to have been going on. The man leaving the husband and wife. The man leaving the mother and father. Now, when he said it back then in Genesis, That was a prophecy. He prophesied what was going to be today, what's supposed to be today. Because Adam and Eve ain't had no mother and father. They didn't have nobody to separate themselves from. They was in a garden. They could have stayed in the garden. So I guess maybe the garden was their mother and father. But God was their father. And the earth was their mother. Because that's who Adam was supposed to tend to. What was supposed to tend the earth. So he said that wasn't. But from the beginning, it was not so. Because of the hardness of your heart. So he said your heart. So he was talking to the scribes and Pharisees, letting them know because of your ancestors, because they had nothing to do with it at that time. Because of your ancestors feeling like, oh, they wanted to do this and they wanted to do that. And they wanted to put I'm tired of her. Let me go get me this other pretty woman. Because I'm sure the women was pretty and nice looking and fine, as black people call them, fine. And the men was handsome and stuff like that, right? The only woman that they bring out in the Bible, maybe it's more, but the only one that I have knowledge of is the woman that was caught in the act of adultery. Now, they talk about Mary Magdalene. Maybe that was Mary, I don't know. But they probably say Mary Magdalene was a prostitute or whatever. I don't know. They also wanted to say that Jesus married her. Jesus had an affair with her. Well, got to that. Jesus was not human. So they want to put Jesus in the aspect of being human because he was down here in the flesh. But he was in the flesh to show us how we can live in the flesh and still be holy. He wasn't in the flesh to do mind the things of the flesh. He was in the flesh to do mind the things of the spirit. So that he can show us that we can be in the flesh and still do mind the things of the spirit. So now, therefore, the traditional wife came into play from Genesis, where God decided to make a helpmate for Adam. So as time go on, there may be some religions that still go with that. My marriage, that's what I went by. What I was taught. And I was taught that I'm supposed to be with my husband until death do us part. Or should I say, stay married to my husband till death do us part. Now, me being a sinner, yes, I went out there, I interacted with other men, I had another child. But I didn't get married again, even though my mind, and I had done set myself up and told the Lord, if I get pregnant by another man, I'm going to marry him. I gave the Lord my reasons. I was honest with him, which he already knew my honesty. I said, Lord, I can't go around here having another child, and I ain't got no man to take care of the children and myself. I was looking at the reputation, the spiritual reputation of it. My reputation, I'ma look bad. I got all these kids and I ain't got no man. I got a husband, but I don't know where he at. I had another child by another man. I don't know where he at. And now I'm pregnant by another man, but I know where he at. And he's willing to spend the rest of his life with me. So that's who I'm going to go with. Not so much as loving him. I'm not going to say that I love them, no. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that I love them. Right? But when my eyes was open to love him, I couldn't love him because he was dead. But who's to say? Maybe that was the reason why God didn't put that love in me, because then, who knows? We would have got married earlier. You know what I'm saying? It probably would have been a different perspective if I had loved him, because my love for a man is totally honest and serious and genuine, and you got every part of me, not only sexually but mentally. I'ma take care of you. I'm gonna take care of you even if I don't love you, but because I got a caring spirit. But don't let me love you. If I love you, you ain't gonna have to do nothing. I'll wash your tail if I have to. Okay. You know, that's the type of love I had. And I'm proving it today. You see what I'm saying? So, that's what God put us here for, to look out for one another. Now here, this is where the saints say, and bring the scripture up. Divorce for marital unfaithfulness. This is the title, man, in my Bible. And I say unto you, this is Jesus talking, and I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committed adultery. And whoso marrieth her which is put away, doth commit adultery. So now, would this be, I'm going to state my opinion on it, my biblical opinion on it, and then I'm going to read the footnotes, right? Now, whosoever shall put his wife, except it be for fornication. That is in reference to the verse before that. Moses, because of the hardness of your heart, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. So now, because Moses went to God in reference to the situation, God gave him the okay to allow a divorce. But it was because of the hardness of men, of that husband. Because apparently it had nothing to do with the wife. Okay? So that wife was faithful to the end. We in a society now that wives are not faithful, and whatever the case may be. Not all of them, though. So now, he put that there in the bill, that the only way a man or wife can go and get married again is for fornication. And I'm sure. I don't even see here where it say in the law, but I know it's in there somewhere. Probably in another scripture. Another book. Okay, marry another. And shall marry another. So therefore, if it ain't because of fornication, and we all know what fornication is. Hey, Siri. What does fornication mean? Oh, man. I hate she don't read it. It says fornication is sexual intercourse between people not married to each other. So now, if that man go out there and go have intercourse with a woman that he's not married to, he commit adultery, right? No, he commit fornication. And then, wait, let me go on. And then he go and get married. Then he causes that person that he married to be adulterous. He done commit fornication because he done had sex with somebody that wasn't his wife. He go get a divorce from the wife that he was married to and go marry somebody else. Now he's committing not only fornication, he causing the person that he's married to commit fornication the second time that he got married. And he caused that person to be adulterous. Right? So we got to be so careful as saints of God. This is the biblical aspect of it. As saints of God, to not get caught up. We're going to go to the saint, then we go to the saved person. I mean, the unsaved person. If you are a saint, and you are professing salvation, you got the Holy Ghost in you. I mean the real thing, not the fake thing, the real thing. You got God in you. And you are married. You are going, because you got God's love in you, you are going to try to do all you can to keep that marriage together. Now, here's the catch to a marriage. If the wife or the husband is whom God approve of, your biblical and spiritual life should be okay. Now, you may have problems in the natural, because that's normal. But You shouldn't have no problems in the spiritual. And the spiritual should overcome the natural part of the marriage, and your marriage should run smoothly. If you have a disagreement, you should be able to. I mean, people always talk about go pray about it. No, pray comes after the fact. You have an issue with your husband got an issue with you. You're all supposed to come together and talk about it. When you finish talking about it, then you pray about it. Now, I am not going to knock the fact of praying first. You know you. And if you feel like you're going to be disrespectful to your husband or your wife, and you feel like you may hit her, or you may feel like you're going to hit him, then you better pray about it, because something done happened with your salvation. Because, see, I want people to understand that even though we're human and we're living in the flesh, we have to kill out flesh in order to not follow flesh. Because if you don't kill out flesh, when certain things come up, you're going to respond to flesh. It's not so much as that, oh, that's how I am, and that's what I'm going to do, and that's what I know to do. No, flesh is deadly. And I ain't talking about the skin. I'm talking about the fleshly spirit. And the spirit that you're born into is the fleshly spirit. Get it? Fleshly spirit. Not the flesh. The flesh is my color that you see here, like a brownish. The flesh is the Caucasian that's white. The flesh is the African that's black. Okay? And I'm just going by the colors. I'm not going against talking about nobody's color or whatever. That's the flesh, right? But what controls that flesh is a spirit, because we are human bodies living in a spiritual world. So we are going to respond spiritually to situations. That's why it's a feeling that projects how you feel about a person, that complies to loving them or hating them. I can't stand them. They get on my nerves. I don't like them. Those are pronouns that's describing a feeling towards somebody. The English language says a pronoun describes a noun. And the noun is a person, place, or thing. A thing is how you feel. Whether it's hatred, whether it's love, whatever words you may use. I mean, the dictionary, I don't know how many words in the dictionary. Hey, Siri. How many words is there in an English dictionary? The Oxford English Dictionary contains entries for 171,476,000 words in current use, and 47,156, no, that's 47 million, right? 156,000 obsolete words. However, if I read it wrong, that's how many words is in the dictionary. So therefore, there's a word in the dictionary to describe a word you don't understand. So now, you have to have the Spirit of God in you so that He can help you overlook the flesh when your wife says something you don't like. Overlook the flesh when your husband does something. When he going and happen to cut an eye at a woman, and you automatically thinking that they go out with one another. Wait, where you know her from? What you talking about? I don't know. Where you know him from? What you talking about? I don't know. I saw how you look at him. Now it's time to fast, not pray. Now you got to fast, because you got to fast that demon out of you. Right? So now. Okay, so they got some. Okay, here we go. They say, the phrase implies several ideas about marriage, including men should commit to their wives in a lasting and willful way. See, this is why it ends up in divorce, because they get in the marriage not to stay in the marriage. because they got in the marriage for the wrong reasons. Or they got in the marriage to stay in the marriage, and as soon as one little thing happened, maybe they ain't got nothing to do with the wife. Maybe they lost their job. So now they feel like they can't provide for the wife no more. So now the wife got to suffer because the man walking around, what is it? Now he feeling self-pity for himself. Now this is where the wife coming, don't worry about it, honey. Get away from me. How am I supposed to take care of you? It's not the wife's fault if you lost your job now. So now don't be going off on the wife. Don't be slapping up the wife because you ain't got no money. That's why the Bible says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. Okay, so he got to get into this marriage willfully and lasting. You step into a marriage, that's why I'm still with my husband. Because once I said I do, I said I do forever. I didn't say I do. I wasn't even thinking about anything happening when I said I do in front of that pastor. I wasn't thinking about, oh, if my husband gets sick, I'm going to leave him. Oh, he cheat on me, I'm going to leave him. He was already cheating on me in California. But I'm pregnant, so I'm saying there's no way I'm going to leave because I'm pregnant by this man. So I'm not going to get up and separate this child from their father. So now if the kids grow up talking about where my daddy is, I don't know where your father is. I left him. Why you left him? Because he was cheating. Also, we couldn't interact with him because he was cheating on you. I didn't put my kids in the middle of my situations. When it came down that I had to separate, it was because of him, because of the children. I had to separate. It was mandatory that I got him out my house for the safety of my kids. Now let's go on. Men and wives will become one flesh, which refers to their sexual bond and their family relationship. Where he said, and what did it say? What did it say? Wait a minute. Wherefore for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twine shall become one flesh. That's sexual intercourse right there. One flesh, you're coming together now, because that's what happens. When you have intercourse, you'll come together. That's why you take on his spirits, and you take on her spirit. That's why you need to let God give you the husband and the wife, so that you're taking on the right spirits. He done cleared out them spirits. Them spirits been cleaned out on the altar. He done got on the altar and got saved, and God cleaned his spirits up and gave him a fresh new spirit. And now he walking in newness of life, which is God's spirit. And she done got down there and did the same thing. And now they both got the right spirit coming along. So when they get there and start having sexual intercourse, all that stuff that happened before with whoever man, woman, and boy, girl that they was with. Well, we ain't gonna say boy, girl. But as a boy, girl, however it was in their life, it's not gonna interfere with their sexual bond. And they're going to come out and they're going to have some nice children. But that doesn't mean the child going to be the best children. But if you have God in your life first and allow God to control your life, I believe that you'll have some good children. Now, the child may grow up and be what he want to be, because the devil is after our children. Whether he's saved or unsaved, he's after our children. But he's really after them children that know about God. Let's go on. God designed the relationship between men and women. The word cleave means to glue or to cling. So to leave and cleave is to sever or bond. To loosen and secure, or depart from and attach to. The relationship between a husband and wife should be more intimate and important than any other relationship with former friends or family members. That's right. So no matter how many friends you got, you don't put your friends above your husband or your wife. That's why when you got a man that you're even if you're married. Okay, so we're gonna go before you get married. You got this man and y'all hanging together, he just love you as long as y'all together, as long as you and him. But as soon as he comes around his friends or his friends come around y'all, he want to act like he don't know you. His whole demeanor change. That's a flag right there. That's why I say when women get in relationship with men, there are things that God allowed to come up because of this bond. Because this is what's supposed to take place. The man supposed to leave his mother and father, his friends, his buddies, his co-workers, whoever. I know I'm adding stuff. He's supposed to leave those people, those things, and cleave to that woman, to that wife. It said wife, but don't say woman. It said cleave to that wife. So now when you are in relationship with this man and this man ain't cleaving to you, that's a flag. God letting you know, wait a minute, I ain't got nothing to do with this man. I ain't got nothing to do with this man. And there's no excuse for the man to be saying, oh, that's how I am. When I get around my friends, I be into them. There's something about love, I'm telling you. And I can speak about love because I experienced it. I got love hurt. Heartbroken. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And this is during the time. No, I got heartbroken before I got married. So, I was young. So I was already experiencing what love was about and how to become a part of a man and become one like the Bible say. And we didn't even have sex yet. So you could just imagine how the sex would have been, the sexual relationship would have been if we had gotten together. But that's not what he wanted at the time. But me being young, I didn't know that because I was all about me. This is what I was feeling. That's why I say, when you in a relationship, it's not just you. That man has to be in that relationship too. So when it came face to face that he wasn't dedicated to that relationship with me, and he was older than me. I always liked the older man. He was older than me. That hurt it. So I had to go cry. I had to be sad and da-da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da-da until I stepped off from it. But then, maybe about 4 or 5 years later, he stepped back into my life, and now he wants to marry me. He wanted to take care of my son because I was pregnant with my son at the time. Now, I don't know. I say to myself at times that maybe I should have married him. Maybe I should have separated from Tracy and went on about my business, and I would have just had that son. I probably would have had more kids. Who knows? Whatever. I don't know. But I know I would have had my son because he already said that he would take care of the son. He already knew about my husband because when I was in California, I was talking to him, and he could hear my husband going crazy on the end of the phone and all this other stuff. And he would tell me, you need to leave him. He'd be like, come on back to New York. I'll take care of you and the baby. Stuff like that. But see, here's the thing. When you had the opportunity to do such, you did. Now I'm in a bind. So many words. And now you feel like you want to come and rescue me. So our relationship would have been like you rescuing me. You coming to my aid to rescue me. Because he saw I was good. He knew my background. He knew I was religious. He knew my grandmother was a saved woman, went to church. He knew I was a church girl. So that's probably what was drawing him to me, to take care of me, but not so much as to love me. You follow what I'm saying? So that could be another reason why women get into a lot of problems, because they want a man to take care of them. Like they wanted their daddy to take care of them. That's why it's very important for a father to be a father to his children. Because you don't want that girl to go and get a man like you if you no good. You don't want that boy to go and get a wife like you if you no good. We the first examples. Your son meets the wife through you. He wants somebody like his mother, but he don't want the woman to be his mother. He wants her to have the traits of the mother that he raised up with and took care of him, which was the traits of God. So he'll grow up looking for that woman that God want him to look based on the what he grew up with. So he got to see the spiritual wife in his mother. That woman will grow up, that girl will grow up into womanhood looking for the man like her father that was godly and respectable and loved her mother and took care of the household. That's the type of man she's looking for. She ain't looking for a father. She looking for the man to treat her like a godly husband's supposed to be, like her daddy was. But what happens, it blows up, and the woman look for a daddy. And maybe she is looking for them traits, but she's only looking for it because daddy didn't give it to her. So now she's around here in a relationship 5 and 6 and whatever, or get into a relationship where she's looking for that man to be daddy, and that ain't working because that man ain't her daddy. And when she get into now here's the catch. When she get into a relationship where a man is acting like a daddy, don't let it be like the daddy she had that was beating on her. And she go get a man that was beating on her. Because that's her perspective of what a man looked like. Because, I don't know, I loved the daddy so much. So I took daddy's abuse because I loved him. So I'm going to go and I'm going to get this man. And I'm going to take his abuse because I love him. But that ain't love. That ain't love. So I'm not going to go all the way into this. I'm not going to be so deep into this. So I went to, let's go to Ephesians because I want to eat. And I'm trying to be discreet about it. So it's Ephesians 5. It must be after Galatians. Ephesians 5-fold ministry, really. Okay. Ephesians 5 and 31. Here, 4. 5 and 31 says, the analogy of family and church. The 31st and 2nd verse says, for this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. 32. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. Oh, I didn't go to the to that scripture. There was a, what was it? Matthew? I said there was a, what's the name? Footnote on it. Let me see. Let me go read it. Matthew 19. Was that it? Let me see. It could have been Genesis, but we'll find out in a minute. Matthew 19. And 5. But it's the 9th verse. Divorce for marital unfaithfulness. Matthew 19 and 9 says, and I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whoso marrieth her, which is put away, doth commit adultery. Put away, divorce. Right? So let's see. This is a footnote. Except it be for fornication. Let's see what this is, because I hear a lot of saints say that that's the excuse for saints to be divorced. Because if they find out that their husband committed a fornication, they can go and get a divorce. Okay. That's for the sinner man. And what's for the saint is where Jesus told them, this was only done, paraphrased, because of Moses and the hardening of your heart. But from the very beginning, it was not so. So we are going from the very beginning. We're not going in time, because divorce was not going on when he made Adam and Eve. Divorce came in after the fact, when Moses came into play. And so much was going on at the time during Moses' time, that we can read about it. So they say, God's plan and standards in one man and one woman joined together in a marriage dissolved only by death. And this is verses 5 and 6. So we're going to read it 5 and 6. And he said, no. Genesis 2 and 24 notes. Let's go there. I'm going to go right along with it so that we can. 22 and 4 note. Let's see what the note on Genesis 22 and 4. The note for Genesis 22 and 4 said, then, no. Let me go back. Genesis 2 and 24 note. Wait. God's plan and standard is one man and one woman joined together in a marriage, dissolved only by death. That's his standard. The only time this marriage become unmarried is when either or dies. It say dissolved only by death. So two people, this is to the saved folk. It's in general, it's for the unsaved, but the unsaved ain't gonna follow it. Maybe there's some out there that are following it. But it said God's plan, that was his plans when he made Adam and Eve, and standards is one man and one woman, not a man and a man and a woman and a woman, joined together in a marriage, right? Not in a, I don't know what they call these marriages today. Dissolved only by death. It say VV, so I'm assuming that's verses 5 to 6, but it doesn't speak on 5 and 6. 5 and 6. Oh, that's for this cause shall a man leave it and say, wherefore they are no longer come. So that goes to that's the backup, his plan. See Genesis 2 and 24 note. So I went to 21. I wonder it didn't sound right. It's Genesis 2, Sharon. Let me go to 2 and 24. So 2 and 24 says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one. 24, leave his father and mother. This is the notes. God in the beginning ordained marriage and the family unit as the first and most important institution on earth. Apart from him making the world for 6 days, and the 7th day he rests, apart from all that, he made man, then he gave man Eve, woman, and he put them in the garden together to help one another and to tend the earth. So this is a bond. This is a connection God first initiated. Okay? See Genesis 1 and 28 note. God's plan for marriage consists of one male and one female who became one flesh. That is, united physically and spiritually. So it's not only, remember I told y'all earlier that this is spiritual. Y'all in the spiritual, your flesh is spiritual. So you got a physical connection and you got a spiritual connection. So sexual intercourse is spiritual. Because you see, it was generated from the beginning with Adam and Eve. So it's physical touch, but it's a spiritual conception. Because when them hormones get aroused, it's kind of hard to control. And you got to keep going until you have fulfilled what the body needs. That's what God gave Adam and Eve. And the reason why he gave it to Adam and Eve, because now they have to be fruitful and multiply. So he had to put something in man and woman so that they can continue to multiply the earth. Otherwise, it would have just been them two. Everybody would have been Adam and everybody would have been Eve. But he had to start a world. He already created a world with only Adam and Eve. And once Adam and Eve sinned, now they have to fulfill the earth now. We'll never know whether it just was going to be Adam and Eve on the earth with the animals. We'll never know that. Because Eve wanted to be greedy and wanted to touch something and eat it. And Adam didn't want to stand up for God and went along with his wife. which in all reality is no problem. But when God says something to that man, God expects that man to do what he say, not what wifey say. But you got to talk to your wife and say, listen, this is what God want, baby. So this is what we got to do. And wifey got to be like, okay, that's what God want. Then that's what I'm going to do too. I'm right along with you. That's how it's supposed to be. Okay? So now let's go on. What was I reading? 24? Okay. Physical and spiritual. This instruction excludes adultery. What's that? Polygamy. Hey Siri. What's polygamy?
Polygamy is the practice of marrying multiple spouses. When a man is married to more than one wife at the same time, it is called polygyny. Would you like to hear more?
Yes.
When a woman is married to more than one husband at the same time, it is called polyandry. In sociobiology and zoology, researchers use polygamy in a broad sense to mean any form of multiple mating. In contrast to polygamy, monogamy is marriage consisting of only two parties.
Polygamy. So, this instruction of man and woman together, having sexual intercourse, physical and spiritually together, exclude adultery, polygamy, homosexuality, immoral living, and unscriptural divorce. Unscriptural, meaning that you're going to get a divorce that's against the Bible. What is Hey Siri. What is immoral living?
Ethical living is the philosophy of making decisions for daily life which take into account ethics and moral values, particularly with regard to consumerism, sustainability, environmentalism, wildlife, and animal welfare. This answer is from Wikipedia.
Okay, so they went to ethical living, immoral. Hey Siri. What does immoral mean?
Immoral means not conforming to accepted standards of morality.
Okay, so that's what he's against. Immoral living is when you come to a conclusion to not conform to accept standards. So that's immoral. You decide you're gonna do what you want in your marriage. Okay, so you can see that in Mark 10, 7 and 9, and Matthew 19 and 9. Okay, so let's go back over here. We read that Genesis 2:24 notes. To this, Jesus gives an exception, namely fornication. Fornication is marital unfaithfulness. Oh. So fornication is under being married. It's not actually outside of the marriage. It's not. Hey Siri. What does fornication mean?
Fornication is a humorous and formal term. It means sexual intercourse between people not married to each other.
Okay, so let's just go. Fornication is marital unfaithfulness and includes adultery or any kind of sexual immorality. So we know what immorality is. Hey Siri. What does immorality mean?
Immorality means the state or quality of being immoral, wickedness.
We all learn this together. Y'all hear this, right? Okay. Fornication is marital unfaithfulness and includes adultery and any kind of sexual immorality. Therefore, divorce is to be permitted when sexual immorality is involved. So you are entitled to go get a divorce when these things take place. Okay. The following are important biblical facts concerning divorce. Let's see what God has to say about this. 1. When Jesus criticizes divorce in verses 7 and 8, that's when he said, They said unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a written of divorcement and to put her away? He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your heart, suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning it was not so. So wait a minute. I just said that God gave him the okay to do it. But that was something Moses said. But I'm thinking that. Okay. So now let's read it. Okay. The following are important biblical facts concerning divorce. 1. When Jesus criticized divorce in verses 7 and 8, he is not criticizing a separation because of adultery, but a divorce permitted in the Old Testament in those cases where a husband discovered uncleanliness, perhaps premarital unchasteness after the marriage had taken place. Deuteronomy 24, 1 and 4. Wait a minute, I gotta go. Because it sounds like it's the woman messing up here. Sound like it's the woman, right? Deuteronomy 22. So that's up here. It's before numbers. Genesis, Exodus, Deuteronomy, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy what? Deuteronomy 24. Let me see, right? 21, 22, 23, 24. Deuteronomy 24, 1 to 4. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, I'm learning something here today, and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanliness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement. Wow, do you see what's happening here? Is y'all getting this? This is the women. That's where it say, this where it comes in, where it says, wow, put away his wife. So it wasn't even the men, it was the women. Lord Jesus, Lord Jesus, you see it? Let me read it again, just in case some woman see this video and be like, it was a man. Let me read what's in the word. This is Deuteronomy 24, first verse. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, past tense her, and it comes to pass that she find no favor in his eyes. She's the one that don't want to be bothered with him no more, because he had found some uncleanliness in her. Now she don't want to be bothered. She don't want to be bothered with him, because he don't want to interact with her no more. You know what I mean? His attitude changes. Maybe he's still loving towards her, but the sexual part is not there no more. And that's because he had found some uncleanliness in her. Then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. So this is the bill of divorcement. This is how it was back then. And if the latter husband, the one that she was with, hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement, and giveth it in her hand, and sendeth her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which sent her away, may not... Wait a minute, hold up. Nope, I got it wrong. We talking about the one that she... Latter. I'm thinking that's past tense. But latter is the one she with. Okay. And when she depart out of the house, she can go and get another man's wife. And be another man's wife. Be, not get. Now, once she gets married to this man, now it's saying that if this man hate her and gives her a bill of divorcement, write her a bill of divorcement, and give it to her in her hand, give it in her hand, and send it out of his house. Get out my house. You don't belong to me no more. And if the latter husband die, that one that took her out the house, told her to get out, the second one, rather, died, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, the first one, which sent her away because she was unclean, may not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled. Is that may not meaning that he decided, or is that a law that he's not to do. But I'm gonna use it as the English language. May not mean that's a decision he made. May not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled. For that is abomination before the Lord. And thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. Okay, a bill of divorcement. Divorce is the results of human sin. Matthew 19:8. The instructions in verses 1 to 4 were guidelines given by God to regulate divorce in ancient Israel. Note the following concerning these verses. 1. The term uncleanness probably refers to disgrace or immoral conduct that is less serious than adultery. Okay, so that means she wasn't really messing around with nobody. Okay, so that means he could, I guess it goes back to the man again. So she wasn't messing around. He just didn't find favor with her, you know? It say it was less serious than adultery. It cannot refer to adultery because the penalty for adultery was death, not divorce. So she didn't commit adultery. So it still boiled back to the man. The man had to come to a decision he don't want to be bothered with her. So he gives her the bill of divorce, man, because Moses allowed it, brought it up. Okay, good. Now y'all can get a divorce, man. Y'all can get a divorce if you don't want to be bothered with the woman no more. But that's why it says up here, he had found some because, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes because he had found some uncleanness. Now, he don't see nothing in her no more because he found something that he don't like in her. So he gonna give her divorce, man, and send her out of his house. Okay, the term uncleanness probably refers to disgraceful or immoral conduct that is less serious than adultery. It cannot refer to adultery because the penalty for adultery was death. So we know that she didn't have no intercourse with nobody else. The bill of divorcement was a legal document given to the woman in order to break the marriage covenant, protect her, and release her from all obligations to her former husband. 3. After receiving the certificate of divorcement, the woman was free to remarry. However, she was never to return to her former husband if her second marriage was terminated. You would think that she can go back to the husband because the second one. Maybe it didn't matter now because she's still going to be bound by law to that man that died. She's no longer bound by law to the man she first married because she didn't go back to that man, did not remarry that first man. She stayed with the second man. Now the second man died, so she's stuck with that man. She's married to that man now, even though he dead. When divorce happened, it is a tragedy, but it is not a sin if based on biblical grounds. God himself divorced Israel because of its unfaithfulness and spiritual adultery. Wow. So then, in that case, I think that's it, right? I'm in it here. In that case, there's nothing really wrong with getting a divorce. Now, we read it, y'all got, there's more stuff to it. Y'all can look it up and get, the different scriptures. But, in other words, God would prefer for people not to get a divorce. But if you do get a divorce, the divorce of today is not the same as divorce back then, right? But it still holds the same meaning. Once you get a divorce, you are no longer obligated to that man that you first married. Now, if you don't get back with that man, you consider it to be divorce in the city of New York. You gonna get married to somebody else. Now you bound to that man or to that woman until death do you part. But being saved, let me see. We look at it in a saved perspective. If you save, it shouldn't be no divorce. You're gonna just put it there. If the man go out there and commit fornication or commit adultery and he come back to you and tell you that he's sorry, he ain't mean to do whatever the reason was. You know the flesh. You know how the flesh is. I done told you our body's just flesh, but unless that flesh is dead and been killed by the Spirit of God, it's gonna come up. It's gonna act up, and you gotta kill it. So unless that happens, then unless the God in you kill out that flesh, you'll find yourself in situations that you care not to be in. So now, with that being said, I've been talking an hour. See, I knew the biblical side was going to be longer than my opinion side. But just be careful. Me, I'm in my marriage. I'm dealing with it. I ain't going to tell you temptation don't come up. I'm not one for looks with a person. Because then in that case, I probably would have been done committed adultery. Because they got some nice looking men out here, right? But I never was a straightforward person when it came to dating. I didn't even date that much. I went to Utah, met my husband, met my boyfriend, married him. He became my husband. I stayed with him from 83 to 86. We separated. He went his separate ways. I got my 3 children from him. I went on. I met the next guy, had a child by him. My plans was to stay with him. I'm not going to say my plans was to marry. I didn't have married in my head for my daughters, for Danielle's father, right? It just was where I was at that time. I wasn't thinking about marriage. I wasn't even thinking about God because I didn't go to church that much. But I didn't throw God away, that upbringing. That's where the words say, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. So I wasn't departing from what I was taught. I just wasn't doing it, right? But when it came time for me to stand up for what I was taught, I stood up for it. I didn't. And that was not getting married again, because I know my husband was out there somewhere. When I got pregnant with the boy, when I got pregnant with the guy child, where he got killed and died, I didn't know he was dying. But my plans was to marry him, and his plans was to marry me. So he was coming to church. He was going to get saved. I kept saying, that can't really be done. Whatever. In my mind, I was like, I don't care how it's going to be, Lord. This is what I'm going to do. I'm coming to church. I'm giving my life back to the Lord. I don't know what was going on at the time, but it just seemed like, just like you say, when the Lord start pulling at you, that's when you come in. And he was pulling at me, and that's why I come in. And I will say that each time I was out in the world and God started pulling at me, I returned back to church, got back on the altar, and got saved. I made it and stayed saved too long. I made it and stayed in the church too long. But I did come when he called me. So he was calling me during that time I was with that guy. And he separated us. He had me go to another shelter way on the other side of town from where he lived. It was still in Queens, but it was on the other side of Queens. And he would travel all the way from his side to where I was, and he would come and see me and whatever. And eventually he left this world. And he was the last guy I was with. He was the last guy I was interact with. I didn't get serious about nobody else, and that was in 1993. He died in 1993. So when you think about it, after 1993, I didn't interact with nobody else. I may have met guys, but I didn't interact sexually with them. Me and Danielle's father came back together, not as a boyfriend-girlfriend, but we kind of met. I don't know how. I ran into each other, and he was there when my grandmother died, and I brought him to the church. I wasn't even caring, thinking about what people thought. And I saw how they was looking, but he was there to support me. He really supported me. He did not care what nobody said. He was holding my hand. I was sitting on the front seat with the family, and he was sitting right up there with me. He did not care. I wasn't even focusing on him, to be honest. So I don't even know what the people thought. It never was brought up to my face again. Nobody never said anything to me about, oh, you brought this man in the church. And Not even in the situation that's happening now. No, nobody gonna say to me, well, you did it. You brought a man up in here. You did this and you did that. I mean, even if they bring it up, I wasn't safe. And no matter how much they want to say, you knew better, I wasn't thinking about knowing better. I just lost my grandmother. I didn't care what nobody thought. He happened to pop up and be there when my grandmother died. When I got the message, I was crying my little boo-hooing out. And I had already told him that my grandmother was sick or whatever. And he said, I'm not leaving. And this was like 2 or 3 days before she died. So he stayed with me. And he came with me in the funeral. And he really supported me. He supported me more than other people. Nobody else supported me. But see, I was, at that particular time, I was at a place where I didn't really care about nothing else or nobody else. He was there, so, I didn't really care about him, but he was there for support. So when you going through things, you kind of lean, I don't know, your spirit kind of leans towards the spirit that's there to help you. So he was there. You know how sometimes things happen in your life and somebody come to hug you and you kind of like back off. Your spirit ain't connecting with them because for whatever reason, maybe something you felt way before or it's just not connecting. So he was there. He took me through that. He helped me through it. Yes, he did. I wasn't saved at the time because I know if I was, I wouldn't have brought him in that church. But he was there. So that's why I said I interacted with him. I was already interacting with him way before that because I got a child by him. So, in other words, if I was to marry him, I looked at it as being all right because I got a baby by him already. Right? And I didn't know where my husband was. But he stayed with me. And, when I say he stayed with me, he just stayed with me during that period for support. And then he went on about his business. And I ain't seen him no more since then. I ain't seen him no more since then. And I ain't mess around. I didn't interact with nobody. I didn't go on dates. I mean, let me go back a bit. There was somebody that I did meet, and I can't even remember how I met him though. And just like I said, I met guys, I interact with guys and stuff like that, but it didn't last. Then it was they didn't have my heart, and not to say that my husband had my heart because it didn't, but it was just the fact that out of respect for God, I kept a place for my husband. As I was telling Bishop Wednesday night, I never got rid of my ring. I lost the rings and whatever, and the last ring I will always go and buy. The last ring my husband bought for me, well, during the time when we was young and he was up and running, he bought a ring for me, and I lost that ring. And then I will always buy rings. That's one thing I would do. I would look in calendars, I would go in jewelry stores, but I would buy, like, never a diamond. He bought me a diamond. One of them little diamonds. He bought me a diamond. But as far as me buying, I never did. I will always buy the ring gold, but the diamond wasn't. Right? Ooh, excuse me. I will always go into the gold store. They only had stores. I mean, they got the stores that they got now where you can go in and get this ring and that ring. But back in my time, there was only stores that sold nothing but gold. You didn't go to the store and buy a gold ring and then wear it a couple of times. Next thing you know, your finger turning into a color. Or the gold is changing. Or it's gold plated. Or it's gold over silver. No. When I went into because I was into gold. So when I went into a store, I specifically got 10, 14, or 18. I never really too much got 18 because 18 karat was a lot of money. So I couldn't get it. I think this ring is white gold. So I think it's like, it may be 24 karat white gold, if I'm correct. I don't say it too loud, somebody be gonna knock me over the head, come and find me. But I think so. But all the diamonds in here is real. My husband bought this one. If y'all can see it. Every diamond in there is real. I finally got the ring with diamonds in it. And the main diamond I wanted was the engagement ring. But as you can see, every diamond in here that you see is a real diamond. And he had been told me, maybe about 3-4 years ago, he had told me, listen, I want you to go get your ring. When I said, okay. I went and looked for a ring in Zales. Anybody know Zales? I went and looked for a ring in Zales. And I liked it because I always liked the princess cut. I always liked that. And because this is a princess cut ring, if I'm correct. It's princess cut. So I told the lady, I went and looked right downtown Brooklyn. I told him, I said, okay, I'm bringing my husband. That time my husband can walk. So I came home. I told my husband, I said, all right, I found a place. We got an appointment to go and look at it. He said, we got an appointment to go look at what? Now, mind you, he had done told me a month ago to go get me a ring. He said, we're going to go get a ring. I said, okay. So now, the time came for us to go the day before. Well, I already detected that he didn't want to go, but I was not backing off. I said, what's the problem? You said for me to go find a ring. I found one, but I want you to come and see it. Because you paying for it. So you the one supposed to be getting the ring for me. So I want you to see it and stuff like that. And I at least want the people to see that I got a husband. Right? So he said, all right, I'm going to go. So when the time came for us to go, he came up with some excuse the night before. Right? I said, don't forget we're going out tomorrow. We're going downtown Brooklyn. And at that time, he was taking the train. He was able to take the train or the bus. I don't think we would take the bus. I'm trying to think, was it here? But anyway, he was coughing, fake coughing, all that. So making a long story short, we never did get that ring. He never went. I was so hurt. I just could not believe that he would do that to her because he knew I was real into. He was looking at me like I was really into it. I was like, yeah, we'll get our ring. I was real happy. And he just crashed. He rained on my parade. I was so hurt. I was so hurt that I was angry. And I didn't want to be bothered with him. When I say that, I mean, I ain't had nothing to say. I wouldn't say nothing to him. I stayed in my room. He'll be calling me. He'll come knock on the door. My door locked. I'll be like, I'm busy right now, whatever the case may be. And he knew I was hurt. He never apologized to. But when he got here, yeah, so that was at 183. When he got here, and 4 years ago, I mean, he kept saying that 4 years ago, when you get there, yeah, right, okay, whatever. He went into the hospital and stuff like that, and he would keep saying, all right, I want you to go get your ring, da-da-da-da, yeah, whatever. I don't know, I guess I was holding it in me. I said, no, I'm not going to get no ring because this is not for real. This is not for real. Now my eye jumping. Come on with the money, Lord. So now, I think last year, he kept telling me, I want you to get ring. He be crying all that. I want you to get your ring because I love you so much, da-da-da-da. I'm not making fun of him, you know. So I told him, I said, all right. So I went and bought my Rolex watch first. And the place that I bought the Rolex watch first, I had to go and get this fixed. I think I paid like $1,600 to get it fixed. And the lady told me, all right, when you come, she said, when you come, I'll give you a discount, you know, on whatever you buy. So I told her, you're not really thinking nothing. I said, well, I'll be coming in there soon because my husband want to buy me another ring, so he want me to pick out a ring. She said, okay. So it was like months. It probably was a year after. And I went, because I think when I got the watch, it was like 2020. No, 2021. No, I'm going to say it was like 2022. I'm trying to think, because I think we had masks on. Maybe we were just taking the mask off, so it may have been 21. No, it may have been 22. I think I had this for about a year. So anyway, so I went in there and I told her, I said, I want to see what type of ring you got. So I went in when he got paid. I didn't tell him nothing because he's so quick to change his mind. So I wasn't going to say nothing. Now I wanted to surprise him, but I didn't want to tell him the surprise because my husband is very good in raining on parades. So you tell him something, like if I tell him, don't worry, your birthday, don't worry, you're going to have a nice birthday. Every time I turn around, he going to be like, okay, so you got everything together for my birthday? I'm supposed to be surprising you. Why you hounding me for what I'm going to do? So you just can't tell him nothing because he'll take it and run with it. So I didn't say nothing. So it took me I think I paid off the ring about 4 months, 5 months. Because I got paid too, so. When I got paid every 2 weeks, and he got paid at the end of the month. So when I got paid, I would save my money. And then when his money would come, I would take a certain amount out, and I'll put it together, and I'll just take a big lump, and I'll pay it. And then that's how I would do it. And by 4 months, if I'm correct, I done paid it off. Because that's what I had to do with the watch. I had to, the fixing of the watch. I won't tell you. I did the same thing with buying it, The price it was, I had to write it out like a schedule. And every payday, based on my schedule, every payday, that's when I would pay. And I will make sure that I will pay the amount that I said I'm going to pay. So it was $100. If it was $150 out of my paycheck, I had to pull out that $150 and make sure I paid it. So I had to discipline myself in order to be able to budget myself today. Okay? So anyway, so I paid off the ring and I got it. And after I got it, I forgot all about telling him, and then finally I remembered and I showed him the ring. He was like, oh, okay, but it wasn't really nothing because where he at today, all that's not important to him anymore. All he do is say, if I tell him I gotta do this, I gotta do that, he'd be like, take the thing. That's where he at now. He don't even know. He mean money and stuff, but he don't even know how to say the money. The money word to go out his head. So he'll say, take the thing. And I'll be like, what thing, honey? He said, you take the thing and get it. Like I was telling him that I needed to fix the dryer. He said, well, you take the thing and fix the dryer. I said, what thing? You know the thing. Just take the thing and fix the dryer. I said, the thing. So I'm thinking to myself, I said, what you talking about, the money? He said, yeah. I said, what, your money? He said, yeah. When the thing come, you take it and you go do what you got to do. So that's probably why I loved it him more. We stuck together. I stuck by him because even though he had his, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to end it. Even though he had his ways that I did not like, but he was a good man. His intentions was very good. He loved me. To this day, he loved me. And I didn't have to tell him that he had to take care of me. No, he didn't take care of me how I wanted him to take care of me, but he took care of me. He would say, I want this. When he got his, when he would get money from his family for his birthday, he would get the money and he'll come and give me some. When they was giving out the stimulants, when he was up and walking and he would get the stimulus, he would buy me stuff. He would ask what I wanted. Like he would look at me and say, you know what? Take some money out the stimulants and get your hair. Or he'll say, go get your nails done. If he hear me talking about a dress or something I wanted, he said, go on my money and take it and go get it. So he would take care of me. When he got the last stimulus that we got, he gave me half of that stimulus. So I think it was $1,400. He gave me $700. He surprised me. He said he said it in front of my daughter. So he said when it come, he said you take half. So me and my daughter looked at him and she looked at me and I was like, what? Because he ain't never said that. He never actually split money with me. He would give me what he wanted me to have, or he would buy whatever it is. If the hair was $500 or $300, he'd be like $500. But he would give it to me, you know. But that's it. He wouldn't give me no more, no less. So when he said it that day, talking about you take half and I'll take half and you take the other half. I said, Tracy, you getting $1,400. You know that, right? He said, yeah, I know. He said, you take $700, I'll take that $700. And that's what he did. Each stimulus that he got, he split that stimulus up. So, you know, I'm not in it for the money. I never was in it for the money because he acted very stingy, but he wasn't really stingy. But when he got mad, then that's when he would be stingy. If he wanted me to do something and I wouldn't do it, then he would not want to give me nothing. But he always saw that I was a woman that took care of myself. And whatever I needed to do, I went on and do it. I didn't sit back and wait for him to buy me stuff. And just like I said, back then when we first got married, I wasn't into Louis Vuitton and Chanel and all these different things and how you see me dressed today. I wasn't like that. I told you my clothes could fit him. That's how I would dress. My skirts and dresses was down to the floor, dragging, dirty at the end, because I thought that was showing salvation. But actually, it was just showing people what I thought about salvation, because salvation was nothing like that. It's nothing like that. It don't have nothing to do with what you wear. Is how you live. So I'm not going nowhere. Because see, I got that. That's it. I'm gonna stop there. See, because I got to eat my food. Y'all have a blessed day. And if you like this video, I'm sorry for it to be so long, but I knew the biblical aspect of the trade, the traditional wife, was going to be long once I get into the biblical aspect. But sorry for it to be so long, but hopefully you like something in it was said that you like. And thank you for stopping by my channel. And if you like what I said, or even if you don't like this video, any video that you come across that you like it, and then subscribe to my channel. If not, it's okay. I appreciate you stopping by. And even if you just view for a minute, God bless you. I love you. Jesus loves you, and so do you. Have a blessed day.